Do you buy or sell silver or gold on eBay? I have a story about alleged criminal activity, so watch this first. Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. We're a channel that likes to buy physical gold and silver, and we like a coin with a good story. If you like those things, please subscribe. eBay is a large e-commerce site that lets individuals or businesses sell to other consumers, but I have a story about criminal activity. This is not about high selling fees or even about people selling fake silver pandas or overhyped grab bags of mystery boxes or unsearched rolls. So it's not that. It's so much more serious. Federal indictments have been handed down uncovering alleged criminal conspiracy. I'm going to share with you the federal indictment as well as eBay's response. Okay, this is from the United States Department of Justice, the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts, U.S. Attorney's District of Massachusetts News, for immediate release Monday, June 15th, 2020. 6 former eBay employees charged with aggressive cyber stalking campaign targeting Natick couple. 6 former employees of eBay Incorporated have been charged with leading a cyber stalking campaign targeting the editor and publisher of a newsletter that eBay executives viewed as critical of the company. The alleged harassment included sending the couple anonymous, threatening messages, disturbing deliveries, including a box of live cockroaches, a funeral wreath, and a bloody pig mask, and conducting covert surveillance on the victims. James Bao, 45, of San Jose, California, eBay's former Senior Director of Safety and Security, was arrested today and charged by criminal complaint with conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. David Harville, 48, of New York City, eBay's former Director of Global Resiliency, was arrested this morning in New York City on the same charges and will make an initial appearance via video conference in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York. In addition, the following defendants were charged in information unsealed today. Stephanie Pop, 32, of San Jose, eBay's former Senior Manager of Global Intelligence. Stephanie Stockwell, 26, of Redwood City, California, the former manager of eBay's Global Intelligence Center, GIC. Veronica Z, of San Jose, a former eBay contractor who worked as an intelligence analyst in the GIC, and Brian Gilbert, 51, of San Jose, a former senior manager of special operations for eBay's global security team. They are each charged with conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses and will make appearances in federal court in Boston at a later date. According to the charging documents, the victims of the cyberstalking campaign were a Natick couple who are the editor and publisher of an online newsletter that covers e-commerce companies, including eBay, a multinational e-commerce business that offers platforms for consumer-to-consumer and business-to-consumer transactions. Members of the executive leadership team at eBay followed the newsletter's post, often taking issue with its content and the anonymous comments underneath the editor's stories. It is alleged that in August 2019, after the newsletter published an article about litigation involving eBay, 2 members of the eBay's executive leadership team sent or forwarded text messages suggesting that it was time to take down the newsletter's editor. In response, Bao, Harville, Pop, Gilbert, Z, Stockwell, and others allegedly executed a three-part harassment campaign. Among other things, several of the defendants ordered anonymous and disturbing deliveries to the victim's home, including a preserved fetal pig, a bloody pig Halloween mask, a funeral wreath, a book on surviving the loss of a spouse, and pornography. The last of these addressed to the newsletter publishers, but sent to his neighbors' homes. As part of the second phase of the campaign, some of the defendants allegedly sent private Twitter messages and public tweets criticizing the newsletter's content and threatening to visit the victims in Natick. The documents allege that Bao, Gilbert, Pop, and another eBay security employee planned these messages to become increasingly disturbing, culminating with doxing the victims, i.e., publishing their home address. It is alleged that the very same group intended to have Gilbert, a former Santa Clara police captain, approach the victims with an offer to help stop the harassment that the defendants were secretly causing in an effort to promote goodwill towards eBay, generate more favorable coverage in the newsletter, and identify the individuals behind the anonymous comments. The third phase of the campaign allegedly involved covertly surveilling the victims in their home and community. According to the complaint, Harville and Z registered for a software development conference to explain the trip to Boston on August 15, 2019. Bao, Harville, Z, and later Pop allegedly drove to the victim's home in Natick several times, with Harville and Bao intending at one point to break into the victim's garage and install a GPS tracking device on their car. As protection in the event that they were stopped by local police, Bao and Harville allegedly carried false documents purporting to show that they were investigating the victims as persons of interest who had threatened eBay executives. The victims spotted the surveillance, however, and notified the Natick police, who began to investigate. The police learned that Zay had rented one of the cars used by the defendants and reached out to eBay for assistance. Aware that the police were investigating, the defendants allegedly sought to interfere with the investigation by lying to the police about eBay's involvement while pretending to offer the company's assistance with the harassment, as well as lying to eBay's lawyers about their involvement. At one point, for example, Bao, Gilbert, Pop, and Stockwell allegedly plotted to fabricate another eBay person of interest document that could be offered to the police as a lead on some of the harassing deliveries. As the police and eBay's lawyers continued to investigate, the defendants allegedly deleted digital evidence that showed their involvement, further obstructing what had then become a federal investigation. The charges of conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses each carry a sentence of up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of up to $250,000 and restitution. Sentences are imposed by a federal district court judge based upon the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. U.S. Attorney Andrew E. Lelling, Joseph R. Bonavolonta, Special Agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Boston Field Division, and Natick Chief of Police James G. Hicks made the announcement today. eBay provided valuable assistance and cooperation with the federal investigation. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Seth B. Costo and David J. Dadio of Lelling Securities Financial and Cyber Fraud Unit are prosecuting the case. The details contained in charging documents are allegations. The defendants are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Okay, let's let eBay respond. Same day, June 15, 2020, eBay Incorporated issues statement regarding indictments of previously terminated employees. eBay Incorporated, NASDAQ, eBay, today commented on the indictments separately announced by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts against several former eBay employees. Neither the company nor any current eBay employee was indicted. In order to preserve the integrity of the government's investigation, eBay did not previously communicate about this matter. In light of today's public announcement by the government, eBay is now addressing this matter publicly. eBay was notified by law enforcement in August of 2019 of suspicious actions by its security personnel toward a blogger who writes about the company and her husband. eBay immediately launched a comprehensive investigation which was conducted with the assistance of outside legal counsel Morgan, Lewis, and Bockius, LLP. As a result of the investigation, eBay terminated all involved employees, including the company's former chief communications officer, in September 2019. The independent special committee formed by eBay's board of directors to oversee the company's investigation into this matter said, eBay took these allegations very seriously from the outset. Upon learning of them, eBay moved quickly to investigate thoroughly and take appropriate action. The company cooperated fully and extensively with law enforcement authorities throughout the process. eBay does not tolerate this kind of behavior. eBay apologizes to the affected individuals and is sorry that they were subjected to this. eBay holds its employees to high standards of conduct and ethics and will continue to take appropriate action to ensure these standards are followed. The company noted that the internal investigation also examined what role, if any, the company's CEO at the time of the incident, Devin Wenig, may have had in this matter. The internal investigation found that, while Mr. Wenig's communications were inappropriate, there was no evidence that he knew in advance about or authorized the actions that were later directed toward the blogger and her husband. However, as the company previously announced, there were a number of considerations leading to his departure from the company. For one final piece of context, here's a story in Wired magazine, June 19th, after the indictments. eBay's harassment campaign didn't happen in a vacuum, written by Stephen Levy. Here is what happened last year when eBay was confronted with the evidence of this astonishing behavior by some of its senior employees whose job it was to sustain trust in its community. It fired the employees directly involved, but it allowed Wenig, the CEO, to leave voluntarily, paying him $57 million in 2019, a sum that, according to an SEC filing, included doubling his salary and bonus and accelerating his stock grants. Well, I have actually never purchased anything on eBay, nor do I plan to in the future. If proven to be true, these people are sick. If you'd like to learn more about gold and silver stacking that does not rely upon eBay, please watch one of our featured videos.